Welcome back to PM Live with the Trigger once again. How was Halloween, everybody? We're having this November 1st, the day after Halloween. So if you're getting this on replay, was all the candy good? Was it dressing up and all fun? Hopefully it was. We're kicking off a new month and we're getting ready for another one of our combined efforts with Market APeel. And Market APeel and Rock Stage Media work together to bring you various symposiums on different topics, different areas of expertise. And coming up on the 6th and the 7th, Monday and Tuesday of November, we are going to get back into Live Healthy. It's a 2-day virtual symposium, how to be physically and mentally happier. And we're going to have amazing experts come on in and be with us during the virtual event. I'll be back once again, emceeing, hosting, and the founder of Market APeel, Shannon Peel, will be back to play her amazing role and organize this amazing events. You don't want to miss it. You want to join us. And today we are going to have one of those speakers here on 2 p.m. Live with us, Nanette Nuessle, MD, or Dr. Nan, as she is better known as. She has been working with patients and colleagues for over 30 years and is a frontline pediatrician providing excellent care. And Dr. Nan, by the way, also runs the coaching company Beat Down Burnout, which utilizes a unique process of personality science, NLP, and timeline therapy to promote communication skills, emotional intelligence, and relationship building. Since I'm not a doctor, we're going to talk about communication today and not being a pediatrician. Dr. Nan, welcome to 2 p.m. Live today.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And I'd like to start out by answering your first question. This was the best Halloween we've had in years.
Was it?
Since about 2 years prior to the pandemic, we've had one, maybe two people come to the door. And I can't blame it on the pandemic because it started earlier than that. This year, we ran out of candy.
Really?
We had so many people, we ran out of candy.
Well, we ran out of candy because I always ate the candy while I was waiting for the next kit. That's what we ran out.
That happens too, but that wasn't the situation this time. I felt bad for the kids that showed up after we ran out. I mean, we had the light turned off and they were still knocking on the door.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, I love that. I absolutely love it. By the way, there's a new survey just recently came out again, the top 10 candies of this particular year. And Reese's Peanut Butter Cups still come out number one on top once again, just so we're keeping score.
Yeah, so we had a bowl with a mixture of candies and then an extra package of just the Reese's Peanut Butter Cups mixed in with that.
Nice.
And because we'd had so few trick-or-treaters in the last few years, I encouraged everybody to just, grab a handful. Don't take just one. Or, take some for your parents. They're driving you around. And that may have contributed to us running out early, but we really weren't expecting anywhere near that many kids.
Well, I've already seen the Reese's Christmas trees out, so don't worry. We're still in good candy shape. So you work with people, you coach with the Beat Down Burnout Company, you help people with communication, but you're going to be talking about communication in the workplace coming up this next week at our symposium. So let's start there. Communication in the workplace, messy, easy, hard. What do you have to say about that?
Messy. And I deal with life and death situations. So we've got to make sure that communication is tight, that it's closed-ended, and you have to use a lot of emotional intelligence to make sure that your emotions don't take over and run the show.
Yes.
So, if we're in a code and I say, do such and such, the right person, the one I'm making eye contact with, because I often don't have a hand free to point, has to repeat back to me what it is I've just said so that we can keep things going in the right direction.
So right away, you're giving us a tip right there. There is the nonverbal, the verbal, but there's the repetition of lock it in. And it's like handing out the baton. Don't make sure you don't drop the baton in the handoff. You want to make sure they've heard it, got it, and they're on their way, right?
Get it, got it, good. Yeah. And we're really good about doing that in codes and other emergency situations. We're not as good about that in the day-to-day processes of our work life.
Why is that? Why can we do it with high stakes, but everyday colleague, we don't do that?
It's part of our training. We're trained to do that in high stakes, but when the anxiety is down and you're just doing the everyday things, it's harder to make that click. And that means that it's harder to connect with the people around you.
So part of communication is connection. And
Oh,
the better
huge.
you communicate, the more deeper you connect it, the better connection is going to be. And then it is that unspoken, I've got you. That's where it gets really sweet, right?
Absolutely. You may have heard in terms of suicide, there's a phrase, connection is the cure.
Mm, yeah.
And connecting with people can help prevent them from committing suicide, which has been on the rise in the US for the last 3 years. Connection does more than that. It's hard to argue with or bully or even look down upon someone when you connect at the level of knowing their values and what's important to them.
I love that you said values. I work with so many organizations. They have their mission, their vision, and they don't speak about values. And to me, I think values guide so much of everything else you put together, and especially the value conversation of communication,
Yeah.
because it does become what you value, I value, or I can understand, or I can admire, respect, and we can communicate better because we understand the value, right?
Right. Right. So if I'm at odds with someone, say I'm at odds with you and we're, you know, butting heads
Yep.
about a topic, but if I know your values and I understand why this topic is important to you, we're much more likely to talk out a solution. We're much more likely to see options rather than control.
So when I work with organizations, that's exactly where I go with my leadership discussion is, do your employees, do your leaders have a shared common value system for this workplace? They have personal ones, but do they have it
Mhm.
shared one for here? Because that will help you avoid miscommunication, lack of trust, and you can even call it out, the shared values, when you have arguments and things like that.
Mhm.
Do you agree that that's part of the glue?
Absolutely. And that's one of the huge problems with lack of trust in the workforce right now is our leadership in many organizations and corporations, our leadership is not taking the time to find out what's important and what's valuable to their staff. And it's so much more expensive to replace a staff member, than to keep them and keep them happy.
And it's also better than the legal arguments and everything else you can
Oh,
get into,
absolutely.
and it really goes crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. It brings your risk down. It makes care better for patients. It builds teamwork, builds trust, um, reduces errors. That's
Yes.
huge.
Yes. So you come on as a new onboard to a new office site.
Mhm, mhm.
The communication value that we're discussing, it starts with the top tier leadership. They need to set the vibe, not the new employee, correct?
Correct.
How do we do that?
Um, One of the ways I've seen leaders do that is to do walkarounds, where once a week they literally walk around and speak to the people who are working that day, find out what's going on in their lives outside of work.
Yeah.
And if they can do that by using language that resonates with that person's values, that's even better.
So that's contrary to a lot of people who say, leave your personal life outside and just focus on work. You're literally saying we need to know about the outside to make this a better environment. That's not the normal lay of the land, the talk that goes on.
Well, the bottom line is we really can't leave work at work and home at home. We can try,
Right.
but it is not feasible to expect people to do that. And so when you acknowledge what they're going through at home, maybe even help them with what they're going through at home, that's huge. But getting back to the value thing, you need to be able to speak to them in their values. You need to know what their values are. And that's where the personality science that I use comes in.
Okay.
I use a personality science method called BANK, which is an acronym that stands for Blueprint, Action, Nurturing, and Knowledge. 4 personality types, similar to what Hippocrates popularized 2,500 years ago. By using 4 personality types, we keep it simple. We have a system where you can discover the other person's personality in 90 seconds or less, and that then tells you what their values are and what's important to them. and what keywords to use when speaking to them so that you reduce conflict and anxiety.
So you flew by that. I'm gonna go back. You said in 80 seconds or less.
90,
So
90 seconds or less.
okay, so 90 seconds or less. That's a
Yeah.
lot shorter than all the personality profiles I've filled out over the years.
I think the Myers-Briggs, the first time I took me 2.5 hours.
Yes.
I had no desire to implement that into anything in my adult life, but it was required in both junior high and high school. And there are people out there who won't know what junior high is. It was prior to middle school. It was 9th, 10th, or 7th, 8th, and 9th grade, because this was when the baby boomers had the schools so full that you couldn't do 4 years in high school.
Yes.
It was a wonderfully interesting social experiment. Take all the kids that are starting to go through puberty, have no concept of what's happening to their bodies, no emotional intelligence to regulate their responses, the emotional response to the hormones, and let's throw them all in one building.
That's right. Yeah. and overpopulate that. So
And overpopulate that. Yeah.
those Myers-Briggs and the Goldens and all the different ones I've used, and they do take forever, but you're saying 90 seconds or so, we can get that sense. That makes it so much more engaging then, because you're not bored and stiff and burnt out, which would you help people with the burnout? Before you get burnt out, you're actually now engaging with a real human being.
And we take that, and it's color coded. It's called a bank code. So everybody has all 4 personality types in different arrangements of 4 letters. So it's a bank code, and they're color coded. So I've worked with organizations that have put just the color code on people's name tags or on their name on their desk, so that as soon as you see them, you know how to speak to them.
Okay, so let's experiment here. This was not planned, but we've been going for just over 10 minutes now. We had a pre-call. We've had this. So what would I be, do you think, in your colorgram?
Well, this is sort of cheating because you did kind of tell me, but clearly you're nurturing first because you value connection and relationships. That shows up right away in what you do.
Check.
It's backed by having the knowledge. I mean, you research the people who come on here. So we have the nurturing first, backed by knowledge, because you want to know what's going on. You're obviously tech savvy to be able to do what you're doing. And then the third code is how you respond under pressure. So we've got 2 letters. We've got N and we've got K. We've got 2 letters left, A and B. So there are 2 ways you could respond under pressure. One would be to do things. What can I do to fix the problem?
Yep.
Take action. And the other would be to sit down and write out a bullet-pointed system and figure out the structure of how you're going to address this situation. That's not you.
Action.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, you're going to be speaking at the upcoming symposium this next week. And again, we're not going to give it all the way here. You have to go register for this Monday and Tuesday. And the registration, hit the QR code, come and join. Dr. Nan will be there. And again, what's going to be your main focus of your discussion with us?
Well, the summit's called Live Healthy. And to live healthy, you have to have a healthy mindset and be able to handle the anxiety that comes up with some of these workplace situations. So I'm going to be talking about bullying and burnout in the workplace and the emotional intelligence to handle that.
That's perfect. So again, hit the QR code, come and join us. There'll be multiple speakers there. And each day it's 2 hours, 3 speakers on each day. And again, Shannon Peel, who's created the Market APeel system and these symposiums, she'll be with me. And I'll be with you center stage, bringing Dr. Nan and other people on in for a wonderful, great time. Dr. Nan, what would be the best way to help people today, right now, in their office places they're watching? What's one great tip you can help them today to better communicate?
Listen better.
Active listening. I love that.
Active listening. Yes.
I love it. Dr. Nan, thanks for taking the time to be with us here today on 2 p.m.
Thank you.
Dr. Nan, again, she'll be appearing at that Live Healthier Symposium Monday and Tuesday, the 6th and 7th of November. register for the event, come and hear these amazing speakers. And even if you cannot make it live all the way through, we understand that. But once you register, you will get access to the replays and get access to the giveaways, the goodies, all the PDFs, everything you get. You can be an active member of what we're doing with Market APeel coming up this coming Monday and Tuesday. And watch for more 2 p.m. lives. Shannon Peel will be reappearing once again to talk about the upcoming symposium and make sure we have all the details with all the amazing speakers coming your way. Hey, that's going to do it for the day at the Trigger Rich Bontrager. Don't forget, Rock the Stage goes live tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Go to our website at rockthestagemedia.com/Rock the Stage Show, and you'll be able to catch the amazing interview with D.W. Starr. And tonight we're talking about confidence, helping you build more confidence. We'll see you there tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Until tomorrow, I'm the Trigger, Rich Bontrager. Have a great day and keep rocking.